happy to have you guys here and happy to be leading you through your Flow and Let Go 60-minute class today. So we are working through Firefly Pose. So if you've been doing a lot of that arm balance this week, maybe feeling tired in the arms or the wrists, so we're going to be warming up a lot of the upper body, working on some core, and then some hips and hamstrings as well. So just really getting the whole body warm and prepared, and then we can have some time to play around with this arm balance. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started on our backs. We'll start in Supta Baddha Konasana, so that diamond shape with the legs, the soles of the feet together, and then knees out wide. So as you go ahead and just start to recline back, we will talk through our theme for this week. So our theme for Practice Indie this week is Shunya, which translates to empty, void, zero. And it's this concept that the universe starts at zero. Our life, as we know it, our physical sense of being, that journey starts and ends at zero. And it's kind of this challenging concept to wrap our arms around. So I'll just describe it from my vantage point. In the tech industry, let's say, think of your favorite app or web application. So let's say just using like Google Maps as an example. Google Maps, that app, that application is created of all of these programs, web services, these calls, all of this data. And when we break that apart, it's just essentially all of this code, all of these letters and numbers. And before that intention was put into play, that first letter or number, that first instance of code was put into the portal, it was zero. It didn't exist. It existed in that voidness. And in the same way, that application, that mobile app, whatever, I could delete the code, I could delete the servers, the data, wipe the database, wipe that code, and it ends at zero. So it's this concept that everything as we know it, before it physically comes into existence, starts and ends at zero. So letting that go, let's take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Another deep breath in. And exhale out. Last deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. Start to quickly scan the body. Take inventory of all of the physical sensations of your body in this moment right now. Note any areas of tension, any areas that feel strong, any areas of the body that feel open. Just notice. And then moving on to your mental state, your mental emotional state of being, notice how you're doing in this moment right now. What is your mind doing? What is the flow of your thoughts like right now? And how are you feeling? Take note of that, take inventory of that. Awesome job, guys. Let's go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Nice job. And then we'll just start to gently rock and roll forward and backwards along the spine, coming up into a seated position. Let's go ahead and just find a seated, comfortable, cross-legged position. Once you're there, inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And then exhale, we'll twist to the right. So the left hand comes to the right knee, the right fingertips will tip up behind the low back. Really root down to the sits bones, and on the inhale, reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Take a couple more cycles of breath here, just allowing us to be gentle. Awesome job. Let's go ahead and come back through center, arms lift up overhead. And then exhale, we'll take it over to the opposite side. So right hand to left knee. Really root down to the sits bones. Inhale, lift up really tall, reach the crown of the head up. And exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Nice job. All right, and then from here, go ahead and walk the hands forward. So coming into child's pose in the arms, and keep the legs cross-legged if that's comfortable on the ankles and knees. Awesome job. Go ahead and walk that back up. From here, we'll find a side stretch. The right fingertips creep out from the right hip, and then the left arm swoops up and overhead. So I'll be opposite of y'all. And then again, find that rootedness in the sits bones. So really root down here, and then lift up out of that left hip, left side body. Take a deep breath in, fill up through the left rib cage. And then exhale, come up, back through center, switching out sides, left fingertips creep down from the left hip, and then the right arm reaches up and overhead, bicep in line with the ear. Think length here all the way from that right sits bones, up through the shoulder, energy through the fingertips. Good job. All right, let's come back through center. I'm going to switch the side so you guys can see. So let's go ahead and extend the legs out long. We're going to do a little bit of core work to help learn how to lift the body up from the ground. So we'll be doing a couple of these drills. Ideally, the legs will be straight out in front of you, but if you need to bend the knees to make that a little more mobile for your body, that is totally fine. Do whatever suits you best. But we're going to bring the hands a little bit forward of the hips. So just go ahead and walk them maybe like one handprint forward directly from the hips. Sit up really tall here and flex the feet. So we want to draw the toes up towards the face. We're going to spread the fingertips wide, root down through the heel of the hand. We're going to start to push the bum up off the ground and round through the upper back and the shoulders. So that same action in Firefly, we're going to practice that here. So on an inhale, prepare. And then exhale, push through the hands, lift the bum up, round the body. Then go ahead and set it down. We'll do a few more rounds of that. So press the hands down, inhale to prepare, chest forward, and then exhale, push to the hands, press down to the heels, lift the bum off the ground. Nice, you should feel that all in the core, right? Let's do one more time. Press the hands down and use the traction of the heels and the hands to help lift the lower body. So one more, inhale in, and then exhale, really push down through the heels, push down through the hands, round the upper spine, lift the head down, lift the booty. All right, and go ahead and set that down. So a lot of work for like 2 inches off the ground, right? From here, let's go ahead and let that go. We'll take a seated forward fold, inhale, arms scoop up overhead, and then exhale, forward fold. It's our first one of the class, so feel free to bend the knees as much as you'd like here. Two more cycles of breath. Awesome job. Let's go ahead and come back through the staff pose to the seated pose with the legs out. So we're going to do another drill, just a few repetitions on both sides of the legs. This time we're going to be lifting each leg up and moving that leg through this kind of rainbow arc shape. So I'll show you first and then we'll do it together. So you're going to be placing the hands down, this time more in line with the hips, and lifting up really straight here. You're going to flex both toes, and you're just going to lift that right leg up, make a rainbow shape, tap it out to the right, and then bring it back in parallel to the left. So let's go ahead and do that together, just making that rainbow shape lift up. You should feel the quadricep really turn on and the hip flexor kind of contract here. So that action of the hip flexor is kind of how it's compressed when we do our firefly. So do a couple more rounds on that right side, and then we'll take it on over to the left side. Or if you've already moved on to the left side, that's fine. So just feeling that sensation, feeling the strength in the quad, and reminding yourself to sit up a little bit taller when you start to slouch. All right, let's take one more both sides. Cool, and then go ahead and bring it back towards center. We're gonna take reverse table from here, so hands behind the hips, bend at the knees, walking the knees under or over the ankles, and then pressing through the hands, start to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Gaze can be up the ceiling, or if you have more mobility in the neck, you can let that go. But think about the hands here, think about the feet here. Use the leverage evenly in all 4 of those ones. Awesome job. Go ahead and lower that here. We'll cross the ankles and find downward facing dog. Go ahead and step back. So first down dog, feel free to shake out the hips or pedal the feet. Sway forward and backward, side to side. Find any movements that work for you. Allow it to eventually settle. And draw your awareness to the hands. Really feel the fingers spreading wide. You feel the heels of the hands firmly planted into the mat beneath you. Go ahead and set the gaze forward in between the hands, and then we'll walk the feet out top of the mat. Inhale finds halfway lift, draw the belly in, shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Let's grab opposite elbows and allow the body to hang heavy here. Maybe shaking the head out, yes or no. Swing from side to side. Go ahead and let that go. And then we'll slowly roll all the way up to standing. Once you're there, go ahead and take a couple rolls of the shoulders, just roll them back a few times. And roll them forward a few times. And eventually we'll come to mountain pose, top of the mat, ground the feet. See if you can find a neutral spine here, gentle tuck of the tailbone, draw the ribcage slightly in. And feel a sense of equilibrium here. Perfect symmetry and balance. Find that sense of grounding in the feet and that quality of airiness up above the third eye. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, side bodies grow long. Then starting to flow from here, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down, step the feet back, high plank, hold here. Start to shift the shoulders over the wrists, and again, strong base in the hands, spread the fingers wide. Feel the heels of the hands plugging into the mat. Draw the belly button up towards the spine, put rib cage in. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, shift onto the toes, slowly lower, halfway chaturanga. Inhale, tops of the feet, lift the shoulders back, chest forward, upward facing dog. And then on the exhale, lead with the hips, downward facing dog. Settle back in, notice the breath. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, release. Inhale, set the gaze forward. Then exhale, feet to the top of the mat. And then step hop. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Ground down to the feet, reach the arms all the way up. We'll dive all the way back down to exhale, forward fold. One breath, one movement. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, lift upward facing. Draw the belly in, hips back, downward facing. Back to your breath. Inhale, set the gaze forward. Then exhale, feet to the top of the mat, step or jump. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold back in. Root to your eyes, lift all the way up. And then exhale, dive back down, one more round. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, lead with the hips back, downward facing dog. Allow the body to settle here. From here, let's find child's pose. Go ahead and lower the knees, widen with the mat. Send the hips back, fingertips forward. Feel the third eye connecting into the mat beneath you. So in child's pose, let's take a little shoulder stretch. So we're going to thread the left shoulder underneath the mat. So you're going to place the left shoulder and the left ear onto the mat, and then just reach the right fingertips forward. You can kind of tint up onto those fingertips. You can also take a bind behind the low back with the right hand as well. Allow the weight of your body to open the shoulder here. We'll switch out sides, coming back through center, and then switching on over to the right shoulder. So right shoulder, right ear comes down to the mat. With the left hand, you can keep it extended, tinting onto the fingertips, or maybe wrapping it behind the low back, creating that little bind. Constantly check in with yourself throughout the practice. See if you can recognize when your mind starts to wander, maybe running through your to-do list or what you have going on the rest of this week, what you have coming up for the weekend. See if you can draw yourself back into this moment here. Maybe it's anchoring to the breath. Maybe it's noticing how certain poses land in the body, but just find something that keeps you present and aware. Awesome. When you're ready, let's go ahead and come back through center and find our way back to downward facing dog. Shifting the hips back. Awesome. Go ahead and set the gaze forward. And then if you can, we're going to jump to the outsides of our hands. You can also just step up, but find a little leverage here. And then jump to the outsides of the hands. We're landing in yogi squat. Yeah, perfect. So toes out, heels in. Allow the hips to settle down. And bring your hands to heart center. Try to keep the chest lifted here. Maybe you want to sway from side to side, or you can stay still. Go ahead and bring the fingertips out in front of you. So maybe like 2 handprints or so out in front of you. And we're just going to simply straighten the legs, lift the hips, and then come back down to yogi squats. So just getting a little bit of mobility in the hips and the hamstrings, kind of in the same athletic stance as this firefly. So you're just going to lift the hips and then settle them back down. You can link your breath if you'd like. Sometimes I like to inhale, lift the hips, exhale, settle down. A few more, inhale, lift, exhale, settle. Inhale, lift, draw the belly button up, exhale, settle. Last one, inhale, lift the hips, And exhale, settle. Awesome. Let's go ahead and come to standing, top of the mat, and we'll start to build our flow from here. So we're going to start our flow in chair pose. So go ahead and find chair. Bend the knees, sink the hips, reach the arms up so biceps in line with the ears. So starting at the top of our mat, feeling the activation of the legs, the inner thighs hugging towards one another. From chair pose, we'll find figure 4 chair. The left ankle will cross over the right knee. Then you're sitting that booty back. So we're getting some openness in the hip as well as strength building in that right leg. Awesome job. Ground down through that right foot. Start to bring the left knee into the chest. Then from here, finding warrior 3, drive the left heel back, balance on that right foot. See if you can spiral that left pinky toe and flex it down towards the mat. Square off the hips, draw the belly in. Good job. From here, we find high crescent warrior lunge. So you're gonna bend deeply through the right knee, and then step the left ball of the foot back. Inhale, arms sweep up, crescent warrior. And settle in. Feel the strength of your body in this pose. Awesome. From here, go ahead and interlace the hands behind the low back. Inhale, baby back bend here, pop the chest open. Then exhale, lead with the shoulders, humble warrior. So both shoulders are gonna come into the inside of that right leg. I personally kind of rest my right shoulder onto my right leg. Keep drawing the heels of the hands away from the head. Keep hugging those inner thighs towards the midline of your body. All right. Feel strong here. Ground the feet down into the mat and lift back up. High crescent warrior. Then exhale, open warrior 2. So you're pivoting that left foot and then reaching the arms wide apart. Shoulders over hips. Drive the right heel out towards the right side of the foot. Gaze goes over the right fingertips. Take a deep breath in. Fill up the lungs, and exhale out. Flip the palm, find reverse warrior, sweep the right arm up and back. From here, find sky archer pose, just simply straighten the right leg. Awesome. From here, we find right-legged forward fold. Go ahead and pivot and turn the right toes, and then hinge from the hips. So in this part of the flow, just allow the breath to let go. Allow the body to be free and let go here. As we start to flow on our own, all of the variations are welcome here. Maybe you want to twist, maybe you want a headstand, maybe you want a side lunge. All good transitions from here. Perfect. Go ahead and place the hands at the hips. Use the core to bring you back up to standing. Then from here, we find pyramid pose. Go ahead and rotate the right toes to the top of the mat. Left foot steps in. So we're parallel, but giving yourself enough space for the hips. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, forward fold over the right leg. Keep trying to gently draw the right hip back and the left hip forward. So we're aiming for square hips, top of the mat. Beautiful. Go ahead and bend through the front knee, coming into a runner's lunge, stepping that left ball of the foot back a little bit. Perfect. And then from here, planting the hands, you can step back, high plank. I'm gonna do one-legged plank, just shooting the right leg back, covering the toes, and then finding my vinyasa from there. So vinyasas are optional in between sides. You can always just step up to the top of the mat. Once you've made yourself back to downward facing dog, we'll go ahead and set the gaze forward and then step or jump top of the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Find chair pose. Bend the knees, sink the hips, lift the upper body. Good. Go ahead and ground on the left foot. Then from here, find figure four chair. Right ankle over the left knee. Sit the hips back. Strength building, mobility opening, all the things. Cool, go ahead and draw the right knee into the chest. Then from here, find warrior three, really drive that energy up through the heel. Any variations with the arms, perfectly welcome. And be patient with your balance. All right, we have a transition here. Go ahead and bend deeply through the front knee. Drop the right toes back. High crescent warrior lunge. You may need to do a little adjusting. And go ahead and settle. Feel the weight of the legs rooting you down, but the upper body lifting up out of the hips. Go ahead and, oh, sorry, I messed it up. From here, go ahead and interlace the hands behind the low back. Inhale, open the chest. And exhale, dive forward from the warrior. Next, I caught it quickly. All right, go ahead and let the head go. Feel the shoulders open. Hopefully you're feeling warm. I'm feeling warm. All right, go ahead and come back through center. Use the strength of your legs here. And now we'll open warrior two. Right foot pivots, stack shoulders over hips. And again, you can make any of those little micro adjustments, kind of fixing your alignment as we go. Yeah, perfect job, guys. From here, flip the front palm, reverse that warrior. Then sky archer pose, straighten the left leg. And from here, we find wide-legged forward fold. Pivot those left toes and fold. Any variations with the legs or the hands? Welcome here. Listen to your body and make this practice your own. Go ahead and bring the hands back to the waist. Lift all the way up to standing. Awesome. From standing, we find pyramid pose. Left toes towards the top of the mat. Step the right leg in. Legs as if they were on railroad tracks. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Dive over the left leg, pyramid pose. Feel that left hamstring open up. Think length, think space. Perfect. From here, we find runner's lunge. Plant through the hands, step the left foot back, maybe hovering into that one leg plank. And then maybe finding your vinyasa here, lowering chaturanga, and the toes down, upward facing, and the hips back, downward facing. If vinyasas aren't serving you in your practice today, then as you flow, just simply step to the top of the mat and find chair. Go ahead and step the gaze forward, then step or hop top of the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, chair pose. We'll start to speed this up more, one breath, one movement. From chair pose, we find figure four chair, left ankle over right knee. Sit the weight of the booty back. Draw the left knee up into the chest, stand, then exhale, warrior three. Inhale, find length in that spine. Exhale, lower the left toes, arms up, high crescent warrior. Hands behind the low back, inhale, back bend. Exhale, dive forward, humble warrior. Hug the inner thighs together, inhale, lifts back up. Exhale, open, warrior two. Inhale, flip the front palm, reverse. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Inhale, come back to center, pivot the right toes. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold, and pause. Allow the breath to be fluid. And imagine this flow like riding a wave, riding the inhales and the exhales. Great job. Go ahead and place the hands on the hips. Stand when you're ready. And then go ahead and turn the toes forward, finding pyramid pose on the right side. Inhale up to standing and exhale, fold. From here, find your plank, maybe keeping that right leg lifted, and either find your vinyasa or come back to chair top the mat. So your call, your practice. If you're in downward facing dog, go ahead and set the gaze forward. And then when you're ready, jump or step, top of the mat. Good job. Inhale, find half lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Ground down to the left foot, right ankle over the left knee. Inhale, come up to standing, bring the left or the right knee with you. Then exhale, warrior three. Inhale, drop the foot, reach the arms high, crescent warrior. Go ahead and lower the hands behind the low back. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, dive the chest forward. Inhale, come back up through center. Then exhale, open warrior two. Beautiful. Flip the front palm, reverse warrior. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the left leg. Inhale, come back through center, pivot the left toes. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Pause for any variations. When you're ready to move on, go ahead and place the hands on the hips. Stand all the way back up. And then we'll find the last pose of our flow on this side, pyramid pose. Left toe step forward, right toe swallow. Inhale, lift, exhale, fold into the posture. From here, plant the hands, step back, runner's lunge. Runner's lunge, shoot the left toes back, maybe hovering a foot. Find your Chaturanga Dandasana, or move back up to chair. Go ahead and set the gaze forward, jump to the top of the mat when you're ready. All right, and then I'll leave you all to flow from here. So starting in chair pose, I'll go ahead and speak the right side so you can follow along with me. If you know it, go ahead and take the flow, make it your own. Add on what you want, take off what you don't. So right side, you're following me, left ankle crosses over right knee. Inhale, drive the left knee into the chest. Exhale, warrior three. Lower the left toes. Inhale, high crescent warrior. Exhale, settle. Inhale, arms behind the low back, interlace. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, dive it down. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, open warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse. And exhale, straighten the right leg. Inhale, come back up, pivot the right toes. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Pause here for a few breaths. Maybe explore other poses. When you're ready to move on, come back up to standing, pivot and turn the toes, finding your pyramid pose. We'll go ahead and take the next few moments to flow. I'll leave you in silence to just flow with the music. riding the wave of the breath, riding the wave of the flow. Take about a minute or two longer. If you're working on that side, you'll still have time to finish one side and then finish up the other. When you're ready, you can just find a resting pose of your choice, but no rush, no urgency. As you approach finding your resting pose, just begin to listen to your breath. Feel that heat that you've built from the inside pouring out. See if you can mindfully, consciously lengthen the inhales and the exhales. All right, go ahead and come back up to seated. When you're ready, just come to a seated upright position. Let's take one kind of opening pose before we get into our playtime. Let's find Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together. Start to draw the heels in. And then inhale, lift up, and exhale, forward fold. So finding length in the spine here. All right, go ahead and come back up to sitting, and then let's just roll out the wrists. So just roll them out in one direction, roll them out in the other direction. Maybe draw the fingers towards you, feel the hand pointing forward, kind of opening up that area. I type all day, so my wrists and my hands are constantly sore. All right, so firefly pose. If you've been practicing a lot this week and you feel really sore, you're not feeling it, feel free to take any other pose of your choosing, or you can watch, follow along, or if you're feeling up for it, play along with me. So I'll show you. If you're already familiar with the pose, you're welcome to just come into it with me. But we're gonna start wide, our feet wide, in this kind of athletic squatting stance. So we're squatting back, and we're trying to drive our hands back. So we're drawing our shoulders under our knees, and our hands are coming directly in line with the feet, and we're bending our knees, allowing the hips to come down so far that we can get the whole hand on the ground. So getting the whole hand on the ground is pretty key. You want to drive the heel of the hand in and allow the fingers to spread wide. You really want that strong base in the hands. Okay, cool. So from here, you can start to shift the weight, and maybe this is where you're at. And once you have this position, you can start to hug the knees in towards the shoulders, really drawing everything in towards the midline of the body. So core activates, Mula Bandha activates, and then from here, you can start to maybe lift one foot, other foot. I like to draw them in and cross the ankles first. So I think this is called insect pose, maybe, or maybe that's what I've been calling it. But we're in this kind of like pre-firefly pose. And this is really good to practice starting out with before we start extending legs. All right, so from here, I'm lifting up, I'm starting to curl my shoulders forward, and then maybe start straightening one leg, and then maybe start straightening the other. Once I have that, press down with the hands, maybe I straighten more, and then you can sit down whenever you like. So play with it for the next few minutes. Y'all know why this one is uncomfortable for me. I think for a lot of people, really like contracts the hip flexors, encourages like our hamstrings to be super open. So just be patient with yourself. Maybe you're just bending the hips down, getting that kind of athletic stance going. And that is perfectly fine place to be. We all have to start from zero, you know? Leaning back, crossing ankles. Drawing the belly in, drawing Mula Bandha up, pressing the ground away from you. Firefly, flight. Whenever you're done playing, feel free to take the next minute or so and just start rolling out the wrists again. Cool. Great job, guys. Thank you for playing around with it. I know it's challenging, but you all did amazing. All right, so for my favorite part of the class, we get to let go. We did all this hard work. Let's just let go and breathe in some poses. So let's go ahead from here. We're gonna find frog pose. So frog pose, go ahead and start to walk the knees wide. We're gonna have our shins in line with the knees and the ankles and our toes flexing outwards. You can start to walk the knees wide away from you until you find that stretch. Maybe you stay up in the palms, maybe you're down in the forearms, or maybe you can lower your chest all the way down. Wherever you're at, just find somewhere that you can breathe for several breaths. This is not the most glamorous pose. It's pretty vulnerable, actually. So just see if you can find a sense of surrender. Where am I holding on to? Am I crunching my forehead, my jaw, my shoulders up by my ears? See if you can find a little bit more softness and allow those hips to be given the space they need to open. Feel the expansion of the belly on the inhales. Feel the slight drawing in on the exhales. Two more cycles of breath. All right, and start to make your way back up to a seated position. We're gonna find a forward fold variation that works for you. So the option that I'm going to be showing, I'm drawing my knee up and my heel in towards the sits bones. If that's not comfortable for you, then you can just find your traditional Janu Shavasana with the sole of the foot into the leg and the knees splaying out. So this is kind of option one. The option I'm going to be showing is drawing this heel in. So from here, I'm going to bring my right shoulder to the inside of that right knee, actively like hugging that knee in, and then starting to forward fold from here. If you want to take that bind, it's there for you, but I'm just focusing on drawing the knee in while allowing that left leg to elongate. Again, if this is not good for your body, find a different option. Three more cycles of breath here. And then on your third breath, start to come back up to seated, and then switch out the sides. Right leg long, and then a couple options, either Janu Shavasana, sole of the left foot to the inside of the right leg, or you're stamping the foot down, drawing the heel in towards the glute, and then lifting up out of the sits bones, and then forward folding from there. See if you can let go. You can invite in softness into the mind. Beautiful. And from here, go ahead and come on back up to seated. Then we'll lower down onto our backs. Once you've made your way down onto your back, go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. From here, we'll find happy baby. Grab the outside edges of the feet, draw the knees down. You can stay still or maybe find gentle movement, rocking side to side, massaging up the low back. We're going to take 5 cycles of breath here. See if you can draw your awareness to the low back and feel that action of the low back connecting to the mat. From here, hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. All right, and then a few options from here. Option 1, you can just extend your legs out long, so kind of like legs up the wall, but they're just extended upwards. If you have a block, you can always place a block under the low back as well. Or option 2, you can find shoulder stand. So if you're finding shoulder stand with me, go ahead and scoop the hips with the hands. You're drawing the elbows in. And then you're just going to place the hands onto the low back and allow the legs to be up overhead. Thinking long line in the spine and actively drawing the elbows in. A few rounds of breath here. Making sure that we're anchoring the shoulders, the back of the head into the mat. No pressure on the neck. From here, if you want to find plow pose, you can go ahead and start to hinge the balls of the feet back behind the head. Using your arms as anchor to keep you down. Pull the neck away from the chest. You're in plow. See if you can draw the knees to the outside of the head, kind of in the temple area on the side of each forehead. Gently draw the knees there, and then we'll slowly roll all the way down to our backs. So you have your legs lifted, you can just roll onto your backs into a little ball. Let's go ahead and hug the right knee into the chest. The left leg is long. Inhale here. Then exhale, find a supine twist, crossing the right knee over the body. The right arm can be long or in goal post. Take a deep breath in through the nose, fill up. Exhale, push it out gently from the mouth. Draw the knee back through center. And then from here, go ahead and switch out sides. Right leg long. Hug the left knee in. Inhale here. Then exhale, supine twist. Allow the knee to be heavy. Feel the shoulder blades planting into the mat. Go ahead and run the left knee back into the chest. And before we make our way to rest, let's find one last Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Maybe bringing one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. And just give yourself a moment to reflect here. Do a little inventory of the body. Notice, do I feel any physical differences from the beginning of class to now? Do I feel stronger, more open? Maybe I feel tight in some areas, just notice. And transition to that mental, emotional state of being. Notice how you're feeling now in this moment. What's your mind doing? One last deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And from here, I invite you to take your final resting pose, your Shavasana, sending the arms out long, palms facing up. Legs can be long as well. Really taking up space on your mat. If you have any other postures you'd like to take before you close out class, I welcome you to do so. Finding Shavasana when you're ready. Allow the weight of your body to be heavy, to feel grounded and supported. And give yourself the last few moments of class to really enjoy the silence, to find peace in that solitude. Begin to deepen your breath. Feel lungs expanding and releasing. Begin to invite movements back into your body. Feeling fingertips, flowing out wrists, and taking an overhead stretch. Eventually, in your own time, find your way back into a comfortable seated position, however you'd like to get there. We'll go ahead and gently close the eyes, bring the heels to heart center. Gently feeling the thumbs pressing into the sternum pressing into the thumbs. Sit up really tall. Last breath together as a class. Take a deep breath in, fill up. And exhale, let it go. The light and love in me honors the light and love in each of you. Namaste.